This is Eric with Campus Voices. We're here with EJ+Dionne, columnist for the Washington Post. Mr. Dionne, what do you think of Denver so far?
Well, I've only been here a few hours, but I've always loved Denver. It is an absolutely beautiful night and an exciting week.
Great. Now, what are you looking forward to most this week?
I think I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with both Mrs. Clinton and Bill Clinton and how the party comes together. I am fascinated by some of the Republican speakers who are going to speak at the convention, including Congressman Leach. I am interested in how sort of Joe Biden sort of uses his speech, and then obviously, like everybody else, I want to see how Obama sort of makes. In some ways, this, even though the campaign will go on from here, this will probably be the best summary of his case that we're going to see for some time. And so I'm very curious, how much does it continue the themes of the campaign so far? How much does he take it in a different direction for the fall?
What do you think of Senator Biden as the vice presidential nominee?
Well, I guess I had a dog in this fight because I wrote a column about 2 months ago saying I thought he was a logical pick. And what I argued then was that there were a combination of factors. I went to interview Biden in June, and he basically made a very strong case that Democrats should not cede the foreign policy argument or not talk about it or only talk about economics, but that they had to make a substantive case against the policies of the administration and also talk about their alternatives. And I think the choice of Biden shows that Obama wants to do that. Secondly, I think it's a governing choice as well as a political choice. He doesn't necessarily pick you up a state, although he probably helped you in Pennsylvania, where he was born in Scranton. But it's a choice that says Obama's thinking about the election and thinking beyond. And then lastly, he's Catholic and he has a kind of working class, middle class voice, and I think Obama needs that. I found over the weekend an old Biden quote where he said, "You know why the working class doesn't like the Democratic Party right now? This was 20 years ago. It's because the Democratic Party doesn't respect them." And I think it's very important to have. I grew up in Fall River, Massachusetts, down the road from where you're from, and I think Democrats lose when the working class thinks they disrespect them.
And at Campus Voices, we're trying to increase youth participation in politics. What do you think the role of young people is going to be in this election and beyond?
Well, I think this generation could be one of the great reforming generations in our country's history. They resemble, in some ways, I think, the generation that gave us the progressive era all the way back at the turn of the century. A couple of reasons for that. One is this group of young people is more service-oriented. They've done more one-on-one tutoring, help for seniors, work in neighborhoods. And what happened with the original progressives is they did all this work and decided they couldn't just achieve their ends one-on-one. They needed to enter politics and change the country. And I see that happening now. And it's really been happening for about 4 years. If you go back to 2004, the only age group John Kerry carried were voters under 30. Their turnout has been going up since 2004. And I think of this generation as more practical than the 60s generation and far more idealistic than the 80s generation. So that I think, I think this generation can be a more consequential generation even than any since that Great Depression, World War II generation.
Thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you.